Ask yourself, why do others rise in power while you remain chained by doubt? Why do you falter when obstacles appear? It is not chance, nor destiny. It is ignorance of the laws that govern power. This video will solve that problem. I will give you the wisdom that unmasks weakness and arms you with the strategy to conquer life itself. In every age, men and women seek greatness, yet most fail, not for lack of talent, but because they surrender too easily to weakness, fear, and circumstance. Today, I will show you the way to become unstoppable. As Niccolò Machiavelli would teach a prince seeking dominion over fortune and fate. Men and women believe they live in a world of truth, yet they act not upon truth, but upon what they see and what they are made to believe. Understand this first principle: perception rules the world. If you would be unstoppable, you must govern how others look upon you, for it is not enough to possess strength, talent, or wisdom. It is the appearance of these things that compels men to obey, to follow, to surrender their will to yours. Consider how people judge. Rarely do they penetrate the surface. They do not seek the depths of your character, nor do they examine your soul. They accept the face you show them, the gestures you perform, the mask you wear. Thus, if you appear strong, you will be treated as strong. If you appear decisive, men will believe you are born to command. If you appear virtuous, they will grant you trust, whether or not you deserve it. The multitude sees the pageantry of power, not its substance. Therefore, your task is not merely to be great, but to appear great in the eyes of others. Do not misunderstand me. I do not say abandon substance entirely, for without some foundation, the mask eventually falls. But let substance be the stone, and perception the marble that covers it. The world admires marble, not stone. The unstoppable man crafts both, ensuring that what is seen is always grander than what is hidden. Observe the rulers of history. They conquered not because they were the strongest in truth, because they appeared strongest when the moment demanded it. A general who hesitates, but appears confident before his soldiers, will be followed into impossible battles. A prince who fears his enemies, but masks it with stern resolve, will seem unshakable. Even in the smallest affairs of daily life, men are governed by appearances. Think of the merchant who presents his goods with splendor. His wares may be ordinary, yet customers pay as though they were treasures. The same principle holds for you. You must learn to craft the spectacle of power. To achieve this, you must master the art of concealment. Hide your weaknesses as a statesman hides his doubts. Never reveal uncertainty, never display hesitation. Men forgive failure more easily than they forgive weakness. If you stumble, cloak the stumble with words that suggest intention. If you err, present the error as strategy. In this way, you transform defeat into appearance of control, and men, who rarely investigate further, will believe you are always in command. Understand also that perception is not static. It must be cultivated daily. Just as armor must be polished to remain bright, your image must be constantly reinforced. Words, gestures, and actions must all harmonize to maintain the impression you wish to project. Do not allow inconsistency to break the illusion, for once men glimpse behind the mask, they may begin to question the entire performance. The unstoppable man guards his image with the same vigilance he guards his life. There is also power in symbols. Men respond more quickly to signs than to reason. A crown, a title, a uniform, a gesture of confidence. These things persuade more effectively than long arguments. The unstoppable man employs symbols as weapons. He dresses, speaks, and moves in a manner that declares authority before a single word is uttered. When you command the eye, you command the mind. Yet you must be cautious. Do not craft an image too far removed from reality, lest it shatter under strain. If you project limitless courage, but collapse in the face of danger, your illusion dies, and with it, your authority. Therefore, build upon what strength you truly possess, but enlarge it, magnify it, until it seems beyond ordinary measure. A little truth skillfully magnified becomes a great perception, and perception, once established, becomes its own reality. For men will treat you according to it, and in time you yourself will embody what you once only pretended to be. Ask yourself now, How do others see you? Do they see strength or frailty? Do they see resolve or hesitation? Do they see one who commands or one who obeys? You may possess hidden talents, but if they remain unseen, they do not exist in the eyes of the world. To be unstoppable, you must make them visible. A man who hides his light is as powerless as one who has none. You may say, "But should I not be loved for who I truly am?" Such words are the cry of the weak. The world does not reward sincerity. It rewards effectiveness. Men follow not the honest, but the commanding. You must decide whether you seek comfort or power. If it is power you desire, then abandon the illusion of living bare and unmasked. Become the architect of your own image. Build it as carefully as a fortress. Let every stone be laid with intention. When others look upon you, let them see not the fragile mortal within, but the figure you have designed to inspire respect, fear, or loyalty. Perception is the battlefield upon which your fate is decided long before any action is taken. If men believe you are weak, they will test you, and you will struggle even if you are strong. If men believe you are strong, they will yield, even if in truth you tremble. In this way, appearance shapes reality. The unstoppable man understands this and uses it as his first weapon. Men often speak of fortune as if it were a goddess, fickle and blind, granting blessings to some while abandoning others to misery. They curse her when she turns against them, and they praise her when she grants them success. But I tell you, this fortune does not smile upon the idle or the weak. She is not blind. She is seduced by those who are ready, those who arm themselves with discipline, those who stand bold and unyielding when she approaches. If you wish to be unstoppable, you must learn this truth. Fortune favors the prepared. What does it mean to be prepared? It is not merely to hope for success, nor to wish for opportunity. It is to forge yourself daily, as though war were at your gates. The man who sharpens his sword each morning may seem foolish when peace reigns. But when battle erupts without warning, he is already armed while others scramble in fear. In the same way, your mind, your body, your spirit must be in constant training. Do not wait for the moment of opportunity to begin. By then, it will be too late. Consider the commander who drills his soldiers relentlessly, though no enemy threatens. When fortune brings war, his army marches as one, disciplined and fearless. Another commander, careless in times of peace, finds his men untrained when danger strikes, and fortune abandons him to ruin. Fortune tests all men, but she yields only to those who have already prepared themselves. She rewards not the dreamer who waits, but the warrior who acts before the need is visible. Many will tell you that luck determines success, but luck is nothing more than the intersection of opportunity and preparation. The man who prepares endlessly will find himself called lucky, because every chance that arises is seized as though it had been destined for him. The man who neglects preparation will blame misfortune, when in truth, he was simply unready to grasp what fortune placed before him. Think of a merchant, he who keeps his accounts in order, who studies the market, who builds ships sturdy enough to endure storms, will prosper when new trade routes open. Another merchant, careless and lazy, may see the same opportunity but lacks the ships, the capital, the courage to act. Fortune does not favor both equally. She chooses the one who was already prepared to claim her gifts. Preparation also requires foresight. The unstoppable man looks beyond the present hour. He asks, what if the world changes tomorrow? What if the enemy advances? What if fortune knocks when I least expect her? He rehearses these possibilities, and by rehearsing them, he becomes ready to act. Others call him anxious, overly cautious. Yet when events unfold exactly as he imagined, they call him a genius. In truth, he is neither anxious nor gifted with prophecy. He is simply prepared. But preparation is not only a matter of weapons and wealth. It is also the training of the mind. You must fill your thoughts with knowledge, your tongue with words of power, your spirit with discipline. Fortune admires the man who has mastered himself. He who governs his emotions, who restrains his appetites, who endures hardship willingly, shows fortune that he is no ordinary soul. When opportunities arrive, he does not waste them on weakness or distraction. He harnesses them, bends them to his will, and rides them toward greatness. Do not imagine that fortune will come when it is convenient for you. She comes suddenly, at dawn or midnight, in times of joy or despair. She will not wait for you to gather strength, nor pause while you overcome hesitation. She presents herself for an instant, and then vanishes. Only the prepared can seize her in that instant. To be unprepared is to watch her pass, perhaps never to return. Discipline is the price of preparation. You must train yourself to endure effort others will not. Rise earlier, work longer, study deeper, and sharpen your will. The idle man complains that fortune has abandoned him, yet he has done nothing to deserve her favor. The prepared man, though exhausted and tested, finds that fortune bends toward him, as if drawn by an invisible cord. Fortune respects those who respect themselves enough to be ready. There will be times when fortune seems cruel, when she strikes you down despite your efforts. Do not despair. Every fall is another training ground. Every misfortune is a chance to refine your strength, to test your endurance, to deepen your preparation for the next encounter. Fortune tests the worthy as harshly as she rewards them. If you endure her blows and rise stronger, she will eventually surrender to your persistence. Ask yourself, if fortune knocked on your door today, would you be ready? If opportunity demanded courage at this very hour, could you rise without hesitation? If you hesitate, you are not yet prepared. If you delay, fortune will pass to another. She despises the hesitant and embraces the bold. Boldness is not recklessness. It is readiness transformed into action. Therefore, live each day as though fortune herself were watching you, waiting to see whether you are worthy of her gifts. Train your hands, sharpen your mind, harden your spirit. Do not pray for fortune to bless you. Force her to recognize you by your readiness. She will test you with storms, with challenges, with sudden changes of fate. But in the end, she will yield to you, for she cannot resist the one who is always prepared. Men often debate whether it is better for a ruler to be loved or feared. Many, being weak, insist upon love, thinking it the higher virtue. But if you desire to be unstoppable, you must understand the truth. As I have seen it, love is fragile, but fear endures. Love is given freely but withdrawn at the slightest displeasure. Fear, once established, holds firm, because men dare not cross the boundary it creates. If you wish for loyalty that does not break under pressure, then command fear before you chase love. Why is this so? Because men are fickle. They will love you when it costs them nothing. They will praise you when the sun shines, when fortune is kind, when no danger threatens them. But when hardship comes, when standing by you demands sacrifice, that love dissolves like mist. The same lips that once called you a friend will betray you for their own safety. Yet fear does not depend on affection. Fear compels action even when men despise you, for they dread the consequence of disobedience more than they value their fleeting feelings. To be unstoppable, you must command respect that borders on dread. Not cruelty without reason, not savagery without purpose, but an aura of consequence so clear that none dare test you. When men know that your word carries punishment, they obey not from devotion, but from necessity. This obedience is far stronger than the shaky loyalty of love. A man who loves you may abandon you for another, but a man who fears you will think twice before risking your wrath. Observe the rulers who held their power longest. Were they beloved by all? Never. Some admired them, some hated them, but all respected their strength. They made examples of those who betrayed them. They acted decisively when challenged. They instilled a fear that prevented rebellion before it could be born. For one rebellion extinguished in blood prevents 100 others. That is the mathematics of power. Mercy may win hearts, but fear prevents daggers. But hear me well, fear must never decay into hatred. Hatred is poison. It festers until it drives men to desperate acts. If you are too severe, if you humiliate or crush without cause, then you awaken not fear but vengeance. Hatred makes men willing to risk everything, and such men are dangerous even to the strongest ruler. Therefore, the unstoppable man must wield fear with precision, like a surgeon's blade, never with reckless cruelty. Punish swiftly, but with reason. Show severity, but cloak it in justice. Let men say, "He is harsh, but he is fair." That balance keeps them obedient without driving them to despair. Think of the father who disciplines his children. If he is only soft, they grow disobedient, mocking his weakness. If he is only brutal, they grow resentful, seeking escape. But the father who enforces rules firmly, who punishes wrongdoing without excess, earns a form of respect that outlasts fleeting affection. The same principle applies to all power. In the world beyond kingdoms and thrones, this law still holds. Among merchants, among soldiers, among ordinary men, it is always safer to be feared than loved. The businessman who appears soft is taken advantage of. The leader who longs to be adored is betrayed by those he trusted. But the one who commands fear is treated with caution, and in caution lies obedience. You may think fear makes you lonely. You may believe love brings security. But reflect, those who loved Caesar still plunged their daggers into him when their own survival demanded it. Those who feared Genghis Khan never dared such treachery. Love may inspire poetry, but fear prevents betrayal. And betrayal is what destroys the unstoppable. Do not confuse fear with brutality. Fear does not require constant violence. It requires only the perception of consequence. When men know that you will act decisively if crossed, they begin to police themselves. They whisper warnings to each other. They hold back treacherous thoughts. They curb their impulses. In this way, fear protects your power even when you are silent. To maintain fear without hatred, you must master the art of measured severity. Punish quickly, not with drawn-out cruelty. Strike only those who deserve it, but strike hard enough that others learn the lesson. Reward loyalty as sharply as you punish disobedience, so that men live between two certainties: the promise of gain and the certainty of loss. Between hope and fear, you will find obedience secure. Ask yourself, do those around you truly respect you, or do they merely flatter you while plotting behind your back? If they fear you, they dare not plot. If they only love you, they will abandon you at the first taste of danger. The unstoppable man does not gamble his fate on the fragile affections of others. He ensures loyalty through the stronger bond of fear. Fear endures because it touches something deeper in human nature than love. Love appeals to generosity, but fear appeals to survival. Men will betray their benefactor if it profits them, but they will not betray the one who holds power over their lives, their safety, their reputation. You must decide which chain you prefer to hold them with: the chain of affection, which breaks easily, or the chain of fear, which men do not dare to cut. The world is not fixed, and those who believe it to be so are the first to be broken by it. Fortune changes her face, times shift their demands, and what was once a strength becomes a weakness. To be unstoppable, you must understand this simple truth: survival belongs not to the rigid, but to the adaptable. The oak that resists every storm is torn from its roots, while the reed that bends with the wind survives and stands when the tempest has passed. Men cling to habits as though they were eternal. They imagine that the methods which once brought them success will always deliver victory. But time is a ruthless enemy of certainty. What wins in one age fails in another. The general who clings to old tactics when the nature of war has changed is destroyed. The merchant who insists on selling as his father once did watches his trade crumble before his eyes. The ruler who governs with the customs of yesterday becomes prey to those who understand tomorrow. Adaptation is not choice. It is law. Ignore it, and you consign yourself to defeat. Consider the prince who relies only on mercy, thinking kindness alone will keep his throne. Perhaps in peaceful times, it wins him admiration. But when enemies rise against him, when rebellion brews in his streets, mercy is no longer strength but weakness. If he adapts, if he learns severity, he survives. If he refuses, insisting that what once worked must work forever, he is dethroned, despised for his blindness. Greatness demands the courage to abandon old habits when they no longer serve. Adaptation is not the betrayal of principle, but the highest form of wisdom. For principle without flexibility is pride dressed as virtue, and pride leads men to ruin. The unstoppable man studies his age, measures the current of events, and adjusts himself to match the demands of fortune. When boldness is required, he acts boldly. When caution is wiser, he restrains himself. He knows that fortune changes her face, and he must change his own to meet her. There are men who succeed brilliantly in one season of life, but fail utterly in another. Why? Because their nature does not bend. The cautious man may rise in times of chaos, avoiding rash mistakes, while others destroy themselves. But when the age shifts and boldness is required to seize opportunity, his caution becomes his prison. Likewise, the bold man who flourishes when the world rewards audacity may fall into ruin when fortune favors patience. Both are destroyed not because they lacked talent, but because they clung to one way of being as though it were eternal. To be unstoppable, you must be both bold and cautious, both lion and fox, changing as the world demands. Adaptation is also the art of concealment. When your enemies expect fire, you give them ice. When they prepare for your wrath, you disarm them with calm. To be predictable is to be vulnerable. The opponent who knows your every move holds the advantage. But if you change your patterns, if you shift your nature when they least expect it, they will never find firm ground to stand against you. Men fear what they cannot predict, and this fear grants you power. Think also of how the seasons themselves instruct us. The farmer does not plant in winter, nor does he harvest in spring. He bends his labor to the rhythm of the earth, and by adapting, he feeds his household. The man who refuses to acknowledge the seasons starves, though he may labor tirelessly. Life too has seasons. There are times for patience, times for daring, times for silence, and times for thunder. He who knows when to shift survives. He who clings stubbornly to one season perishes. Adaptation demands humility, for it forces you to admit that what worked yesterday may not serve today. It requires that you abandon pride, that you cast off the comfort of habit. Men fear change because it unsettles them, because it forces them to learn anew. But the unstoppable man does not fear this. He embraces it. He studies the shifting world, not with dread, but with hunger, eager to find the new path that others are too afraid to walk. To adapt is not to drift aimlessly with the tide, but to guide yourself like a sailor who shifts his sails with the wind. The wind is beyond his control, yet by adjusting his sails, he commands his ship and reaches his destination. The fool curses the wind, demanding that it blow as he wishes. He dies at sea, his ship wrecked by his own stubbornness. The wise man changes his course, bends to the wind, and through bending, masters it. Ask yourself, do you cling to methods that no longer serve you? Do you insist that the world must remain as you prefer it? Or do you study it and shift as it shifts? If you wish to be unstoppable, you must abandon the illusion of permanence. Nothing endures unchanged. Neither fortune, nor men, nor the world itself. Only those who adapt will rise again when others fall. There are moments in life where hesitation is death. Men who falter when decision is required soon discover that mercy untempered by calculation becomes weakness, and weakness is the invitation to be conquered. To be unstoppable, you must learn the cold necessity of calculated ruthlessness. This is not the savage cruelty of a brute, but the sharp and deliberate hand of one who knows that power cannot survive without decisive severity. Understand this: the world is not ruled by kindness. It is ruled by those who act with determination when others waver. Too many men imagine that goodness alone will shield them, that if they are gentle, generous, and forgiving, others will return the favor. But history teaches the opposite. The merciful without strength are devoured, the overly kind are exploited, the endlessly forgiving are betrayed. To secure your position, to advance without being torn down, you must know when to unsheathe the blade, and you must not tremble when the moment demands it. Calculated ruthlessness begins with clarity. You must know what serves your survival and what threatens it. A ruler who cannot punish betrayal swiftly invites rebellion. A leader who refuses to remove a rival allows danger to grow until it destroys him. A man who hesitates at the decisive hour loses not only his chance but also his authority. Severity, delivered at the right time, ensures security, for when others see that you act without hesitation, They think twice before daring to oppose you. But ruthlessness must be measured, not reckless. The unstoppable man does not delight in cruelty for its own sake, for that breeds hatred and chaos. His ruthlessness is like a physician's knife, cutting only where necessary, removing the disease before it consumes the body. When punishment is required, it must be sharp, swift, and final. If it lingers, if it festers, it breeds resentment and vengeance. A clean strike instills fear, while a lingering torment breeds hatred. Remember, hatred is dangerous, but fear, properly balanced, is enduring. There is power in decisiveness. Men respect those who do not hesitate when action is required. If you punish betrayal immediately, others see that treachery carries a cost. If you strike down a rival before he grows strong, others see that you allow no challenge to your rule. In this way, ruthlessness protects you more effectively than kindness ever could. For kindness may win hearts, but ruthlessness secures obedience. History honors those who were remembered not for softness, but for strength. Consider the rulers who shaped empires. When they showed mercy, it was with purpose. When they showed severity, it was without hesitation. Their enemies feared them more than they hated them, and their people respected them because they knew hesitation was not part of their nature. The unstoppable man must learn this balance. Never cruel without reason, never merciful without gain. You may ask, is it not better to forgive, to show compassion, to win loyalty through kindness? And I answer, yes, when it costs you nothing. But when your survival is at stake, when your authority is questioned, when your enemies gather strength, forgiveness is poison. Mercy in such moments is not virtue. It is self-destruction. Men who refuse to be ruthless when the time demands it invite their own downfall. Fortune respects the bold and decisive, not the weak-hearted. Calculated ruthlessness also extends beyond enemies. Sometimes, it must be applied to yourself. You must be ruthless with your laziness, with your doubts, with your indulgences. To be unstoppable, you must cut away the weaknesses within as sharply as you cut away threats from without. Do not allow comfort to soften you. Do not let excuses take root. Punish your own failures with the same severity you would punish betrayal. In this way, you sharpen yourself into a weapon fit to command fortune. But know this, ruthlessness without calculation is barbarity, and barbarity destroys itself. The unstoppable man chooses his moments. He does not strike blindly. He does not waste his severity on trifles. He reserves it for the times that matter most, when survival, power, and destiny hang in the balance. Then, and only then, he unleashes it without hesitation, knowing that hesitation is the luxury of the weak. Ask yourself, how many chances have you lost because you hesitated? How many times did you forgive when you should have cut away the danger? How many opportunities slipped past because you feared being harsh? Those who are unstoppable are not chained by such weakness. They act when others delay, and because they act, they command. To live without calculated ruthlessness is to live at the mercy of others. To master it is to shape the world around you, to silence betrayal, to carve your path with unyielding certainty. And though others may whisper that you are severe, they will also know that you are a force they cannot ignore, a presence they dare not oppose. Now you have seen the path that makes a man unstoppable. Power is perception, for the world obeys appearances more than truth. Fortune favors the prepared, for opportunity bows only to those who are ready. Fear endures where love falters, binding men with loyalty that does not break. Adaptation is survival, for those who bend to the times command them, while the rigid are destroyed. And calculated ruthlessness is the final seal of strength, the hand that strikes when hesitation would bring ruin. The world does not reward the timid, nor the ones who wait for destiny to favor them. It rewards those who seize power, command respect, and shape fortune with their own hands. If you would be remembered, if you would rise above the ordinary and make yourself unstoppable, then take these laws not as words, but as weapons, and wield them without fear.